guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to continue our quest to find what works most in the class and has the biggest impact on student learning by having a look at another high impact teaching strategy called metacognition. Let's learn, share and teach. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time you're here, my name is Mr. K. I'm a primary school, elementary school teacher and a very proud parent. Now, I've geared my channel towards helping students, parents and teachers better learn, share and teach to get the best learning outcomes for the students. Now, if you think this is something that you might be interested in, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button down below. Thank you, that'll be greatly appreciated. Now, today I'm going to continue our learning journey on learning what actually works best in the classroom to get the best student outcomes. So we're going to be looking at the high impact teaching strategy of metacognition. We've got a bit to get through, so let's get things underway. What is metacognition? Well, metacognition is thinking about our thinking. Meta meaning beyond and cognition meaning thinking. And wrapped up in the term of thinking are things like remembering, knowing, judging, and problem solving, etc. Now, to put it another way, metacognition is basically the reflecting on and self-regulating of our thinking. It can be a part of the path or the path to learning. Now, metacognitive strategies assist in effective learning, and effective learning has been defined to include the following elements. It includes planning and goal setting, continual monitoring, identifying what we know, identifying what we don't know, and then adapting our learning when necessary. Now, metacognitive strategies can be found in every element of effective learning. It can be found in the planning, monitoring and reviewing stages of learning. So there are a lot of opportunities in the learning process to use metacognitive strategies. So why are we looking at metacognitive strategies? Well, metacognitive strategies have been identified as high impact teaching strategies. John Hattie has gone ahead and done his meta-analysis of all the different elements that have an effect on the learning outcomes of students, and he's quantified that effect by using something called an effect size. Now, anything that had an effect size or has an effect size greater than 0.4 is determined to have greater than a year's worth of impact on a student's learning if applied regularly throughout a year to that student. So, as you can see above me, metacognitive strategies have an effect size of 0.69, which is way above the 0.4, which means that metacognitive strategies, if applied regularly to a student over a year, will have a greater than a year's worth of learning impact on that student. So metacognitive strategies also help students to acquire, retain and transfer knowledge to different situations. It allows the student to gain a deeper understanding of what they're learning, moving from declarative knowledge through to procedural knowledge and finally to the holy grail of learning, which is conceptual knowledge, where they can actually know their content that well that they can take that knowledge and apply it to different contexts and situations. So let's get into some metacognitive strategies that we can all use to improve our learning. The first one I want to talk about is self-questioning. Now, self-questioning is a fantastic metacognitive strategy because it encourages students to more deeply develop an understanding of what they're trying to learn through helping them focus, also engage in the content better, which causes more connections with that content, which in turn helps them to better retrieve that information in the future. Now, some examples of self-questioning could be, why is that true? Or why does it make sense that? Or what is the main point that is being made here? Checklists are another fantastic tool that students can use that actually helps to empower them and drive their own learning, also helps them to be more aware and analyze their own thinking. The great thing about checklists is that it is a systematic review of what is needed to actually complete tasks. So, example of a checklist could be a checklist that outlines what is needed to make a great narrative, or another checklist could be, say, something like what a student needs to get done throughout the term to be successful in a certain subject. Concept mapping. The concept map is basically a visual organization or representation of knowledge, and it shows concepts and ideas that are related to each other and how they're related. It basically takes a central idea and normally puts it in a bubble or a square or a triangle if you like, and there are lines drawn out from that bubble to related concepts or ideas. Now, next to the line, you would normally also put a description on how those ideas are related to each other. So that is another great metacognitive strategy. Now, an example of a concept map or concept mapping could be the central idea or central question that are cats better than dogs? And then all the other related ideas related to that central question could hang off the side with all the lines connecting them up and the explanation of the relationship of those ideas. Another one could be, what is a good narrative? It could be in all the related ideas on the side, it could be all the different items that you would need, like example, grammar, also punctuation, maybe the structure of that piece as well. Annotated drawings. Annotated drawings are drawings or sketches that are annotated and have labels and text that actually explain certain features of that drawing. Now, these drawings shouldn't be considered finished, polished items. They are actually normally designed to express ideas and get some feedback back on those ideas. An example of using an annotated drawing to explain something might be actually the relationship between the orbits of the Sun, Earth, and Moon, with little labels and descriptions explaining various features of that relationship. Reciprocal teaching. Vygotsky, the famous Soviet psychologist, linked metacognition and dialogue in explaining how individuals develop an understanding of a concept. He believed the process of learning involved moving a student into their zone of proximal development, or their next stage of learning, through dialogue and discussion with other individuals. Now, one sort of metacognitive strategy you can use is a reciprocal teaching or discussion group. In this group, what happens is you get a teacher, some students together. The teacher starts off being the lead, discussing the concepts that they're all trying to learn, and that teacher basically questions, models, and paraphrases. Then over time, you see the students start to take the lead role. This is fantastic because it helps students to analyze their own thoughts, to cement their ideas, and get a better comprehension of what they're trying to learn. Now, this approach is quite powerful from the perspective that students can learn at their own pace in a group that includes experts and more able peers. So you're a teacher who wants to support and nurture metacognitive strategies in your classroom. And how do you do that? Well, today I've got 6 strategies that will help you do just that. And the first one I want to talk about today is modeling. So walk around, talk out loud your thoughts, do some self-questioning, and use tools like example checklists. From what I've seen in my class, if you do that, students start to pick them up and use them effectively in their learning. Number 2 is reporting. Get students to write down their thoughts. It's very powerful to make those thoughts visible so that they can review and reflect on those and regulate those. You might even want to go as far as to put a question at the end of a test. Like example, what thinking strategy helped you to answer question 7? There's a bit of a different idea. Number 3, tracking. Do a pre and post poll on attitudes and notions towards something that they've learned and how their learning has affected or involved their thinking. Number 4, questioning. After a student has answered a question, maybe go back to them and say, how did you figure that out, right? Get them to think about their thinking with that. Number 5, revising. Ask students to reflect on errors that they've made, and after they've done that reflection, see how things or how they think differently about what they did before and how they did that error. And then finally, number 6, assessing. Get students to assess or compare different pieces of work and discuss whether they were effectively done or not and why. Excellent. So, in summary, metacognition is thinking about thinking. There are many opportunities within the learning process to actually apply metacognitive strategies. The data out there shows that it is a high impact teaching strategy, and if used effectively, can actually bring about greater than a year's worth of growth in a student's learning. Also, remember all the strategies that you as an individual can use to better learn, and if you're a teacher, remember the strategies that you can use to support and nurture metacognitive strategies in your classroom. And the last thing I want to say in my summary today is please go out there and find more metacognitive strategies or more ways to support metacognition in your classroom. What I've given you today is just a small piece of the pie. There are many more strategies out there. Excellent. Thanks very much for watching today. I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for watching one of my videos. If you've enjoyed the content or you just want to show your support, please just click the subscribe button down below. You hitting the subscribe button lets me know that you'd like to see more content from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Subscribe.